Hello, welcome back to the video series where we are reviewing the LEED Green Associate Exam Preparation Guide. So today's video is going to be dedicated to Chapter 9, and that is Materials and Resources. And before we dive deeper into the chapter, I would like to actually go through the prerequisites and credits for this category. So there are 2 prerequisites and 5 credits. So the prerequisites are storage and collection of recyclables and construction and demolition waste management planning. And we remember that without achieving the prerequisite requirements, the whole scorecard is going to be not valid. So these are the mandatory things. So the credit categories are as follows. Credit 1 is building life cycle impact reduction. Then building product declaration, building product disclosure and optimization, or BPDO, for the environmental product declarations, or EPDs. Then building product disclosure and optimization, or BPDO, for sourcing of raw materials. Then building product disclosure and optimization, or BPDO, for the material ingredients. And the last one is construction and demolition waste management. So the planning is the prerequisite, and the waste management itself during the construction is the credit. So the objectives of the chapter are: explain the importance of reusing buildings and materials to improve material conservation. Then explain how environmentally preferable materials influence green design. Then identify the strategies involved in selecting environmentally preferable materials and the role of building product disclosures. Also, describe the life cycle impact of materials on a project and the environment. Explain the importance of diverting waste from landfills. And then listing the strategies that can be used to address construction and demolition waste. So, materials and resources category in LEED focus in LEED 2009 focused only on materials, individual characteristics of extraction, location, or content, to the exclusion of other important, sometimes negative characteristics. So, for example, although bamboo and cork were popular flooring materials to specify in LEED projects, and counted as renewable resources for that material and resources category, they were grown in countries thousands of miles away from where they were being used. This means that the carbon footprint to get those materials to the job site was large. So using these 2 materials was counterintuitive to sustainability. So it was improved, and LEED V4 gives credit for disclosing environmental and human health information directly through product declarations and other formats. By disclosing this information, making use of certification programs that identify optimized products, project teams are better able to evaluate and compare products to make choices that reflect the project's priorities. So the intent of the materials and resources category is to encourage the use of products and materials for which life cycle information is available and that have environmentally, economically, and socially preferable life cycle impacts. The prerequisites and credits minimize the embodied environmental and human health impacts and costs associated with extraction, production, transportation, consumption, and disposal of building materials. So this category has been completely redesigned since LEED 2009. So the credits may be initially more difficult to achieve. However, USGBC's intended market change has already begun, and many manufacturers are disclosing more information about their products so that they can continue to be specified in LEED projects, meaning that as time goes on, it will be easier for project teams to find products that contribute to achievement of the MR credits in LEED. And actually, LEED v4.1 is a little easier to achieve. So for example, if you use Green Badger, that is the platform where you can log in all the BPDOs, like all the information, and keep track of those. If you switch to LEED v4.1, that is, you will see that the percentage will go up, that actually you can get more points for the same category. So definitely try it out. I'm not affiliated with Green Badger, but I highly recommend that. I use that in many projects. So that is a really good platform. So as far as the strategies for materials and resources, there are a few, and they include the knowledge domains of reuse, life cycle impacts, waste, and purchasing and declarations. So product attributes and disclosures. We can see that there are a few different types, and it's important to understand for the exam, for LEED Green Associate exam candidate, that many titles and acronyms for product attributes and disclosures introduced through this category. So for example, LCA or life cycle assessment, then PCR or product category rules, or EPD or environmental product declaration, or HPD or health product declaration. So there are so many different abbreviations. So I would like you to back up this video with a textbook, and you can get familiar with all those abbreviations, because that's how the project teams communicate, just like referring to like BPDO, like EPD. So you really need to be familiar with the abbreviations. So material conservation, that is or source reduction. So that lessens the building's impact on the environment. And the general strategies contained in the LEED rating systems can greatly contribute to material conservation when used in concert. So the intent is to reduce the amount of raw materials that are used in the construction and operation of the building. And you need to be familiar with the terminology such as cradle to grave, cradle to cradle, and other categories. So as far as the strategies, there are a few of them, and the knowledge domains are reuse and life cycle impact. So for example, reuse buildings and materials, and that's the most effective way to achieve material conservation and to extend the life of the buildings and materials that already exist. So, for example, historic building reuse, or renovation of abandoned or blighted building. And like if you maintain at least 50% of that building, you can receive up to 6 points. And that's, that is not just the materials and resources, that actually revitalizes the whole community. So when you repair historic buildings or blighted buildings, you actually have a larger impact. It's like a ripple effect that goes throughout the whole community, not just one building, and you can get that certification. So if you reuse 25 to 75% of the building and materials, like salvaging them and just trying to use them somewhere else, if for example, the structural integrity is no longer there, you can use it in the interiors, for example, and you can get up to 5 points. So when you perform the whole building LCA or life cycle assessment, that you need to demonstrate a minimum of 10% reduction compared with the reference building, and in at least 3 of 6 impact measures, one of which must be global warming potential. So, and that can get up to 3 points for the credit. So There are beautiful images here in the book, so please, please refer to those. This is critically important to understand and see what actually those categories are. So as far as environmentally preferable materials, that is like given a second consideration to make after ensuring that all efforts to promote material conservation are utilized. So the intent is to encourage project teams to explore environmentally preferable materials and products that have certain sustainable characteristics. And for example, the characteristics of those materials could include the following: reduced energy use from material transportation, then sustainably grown and harvested materials, intended end-of-life uses that divert waste from landfills. That is critically important too. Then recycled content, made of bio-based materials. And now, for example, straw bale is very popular to build, or bamboo or cork. Known ingredients. So you need to have a disclosed list of ingredients, and especially it's difficult to get in such materials like paint and all the wet applied products. Then long-lasting, durable, and reusable materials should be definitely used, and made in socially responsible factories. That is important too. So these strategies for the environmentally preferable materials, there are a few things to remember. So, for example, you need to use products with EPDs, or environmental product declarations. So you can find that information for the most part on the website of the manufacturer, or you can always inquire that. You can send an email to the sales rep and they will provide you with that. So product specific declarations are just for this product, and industry like generic declarations are just for the same type of product, but it's like more like industry wide. So that is another type. Then you can participate in the USGBC approved program, and this option is for it's which is an option on all three disclosure and optimization credits, and that allows for products that comply with future programs the USGBC may deem acceptable to meet the requirements. So you can always like give USGBC a call and get some consultation. So that's important to understand. Then you need to use verified sourcing of raw materials, and that is critically important. So, and there are two options. For the first one, project teams may earn a point by using at least 20 permanently installed products from at least 5 manufacturers who report information regarding human and ecological impacts. And also, there are self-declared reports, and they're valued at 1/2 of a product. Then the second option is the project teams may receive a second point for using products that optimize the extraction process by limiting or eliminating extraction of new resources. So using reused materials or using recycled content, or using best practices for extraction processes. And here, of course, we need to remember about the FSC, or Forest Stewardship Council, or bio-based materials meeting the Sustainable Agriculture Network standard, and that's SAN. So please remember those. Then you need to consider material ingredients, and you always need to check the products that demonstrate the chemical inventory of it. So, and again, that could be manufacturer's inventory, HPD, or health product declaration, cradle to cradle certified, or another USGBC approved program. Like there's a Declare, there are other different documents that may accompany the product. So also, yeah, there's like REACH, that's the European International Alternative Compliance Path, and Green Screen, VU 1.2 benchmark, and others. Also, location valuation factor, and that's options 2 and 3 of the BPDO material ingredients. So that is for the manufacturer supply and supply chain optimization, include location valuation factor for credit achievement calculations. So the product that was extracted, manufactured, and purchased within 100 miles or 160 kilometers of the project site will get 200% of their base contributing cost. So that's important to remember, that the 100-mile radius. Also, what else is important here? Yeah, so implement sustainable purchasing policies. You can always get that letter from the purchasing department, and that will identify local sources of environmental preferable materials, then develop a sustainable material policy and specify green cleaning products. So that is something that we always need to remember. Then we're moving to the waste management. And of course, the intent of that is to keep as much material as possible out of the landfill, because landfill is basically like the cemetery of all the design and everything. So we want to reuse those materials, and we want to just show that we are thinking about that life cycle, not just the purchasing of the products. So the intent of the waste management is actually to just impact the health, safety, and welfare of the public. And we need to recycle all the materials, the food, glass, all the recyclables and everything. So, and the two MR prerequisites and the MR credit aim to reduce the amount of landfill material by diverting waste materials to recycling plants. So diverting that waste will reduce the demand for virgin materials by product manufacturers. So there is definitely something to remember. So as far as the strategies, what can be done, we can reduce the size of the building footprint, but that's the design decision, that's the owner's decision, and the lead consultant cannot really influence that. But implementing the recycling plans, which is number 2, that is something that can be done. So the lead consultant can definitely start that conversation and plant the seeds. And unfortunately, recycling is still not done everywhere. So yes, we need to definitely encourage that. Then conduct waste stream audits. So when the construction starts, that needs to be diverted on site. So those waste streams need to be definitely documented. And then implement construction and solid waste planning and management policies. So that is something to discuss with the contractor, how they're going to handle that. And definitely all those weight tickets and all the documents from the truck delivering that waste, that needs to be documented. So the credit, the construction demolition waste management, this credit awards project teams with 1 to 2 points for recycling 50 to 75% of construction waste from a project with 3 to 4 material streams. And that's important to remember too. Then monitor and track waste and recycling. So even though you will get just the non-recyclable waste like mixed debris and like some food, waste and whatever construction waste cannot be separated and recycled. So you need to still weigh that and track that. So you will see the percentage of the recycled material. And if possible at all, compost food waste. It's difficult to do on the construction site, but if possible at all, that is definitely a really good thing to do. So, also what is important to remember here, a couple of key terms and definitions. So, chain of custody, it's a number issued by the FSC or Forest Stewardship Council, and that is assigned to each order of certified wood purchased by a customer. Then cradle to cradle certified or C2C, that's the product certification program for assessing and constantly improving products by requiring product ingredients to be disclosed to an independent accredited C2C assessor. And C2C rewards achievements in 5 categories: material health, material reutilization, renewable energy and carbon management, water stewardship, and social fairness. And there are 5 C2C levels: basic, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Also, what is important to remember, like, of course, remember the EPD and HPD, the Environmental Product Declaration and Health Product Declaration. Um, Also, what else we need to remember? The optimization. So that is the process of improving a product or material to meet specific performance goals. And rapidly renewable materials, that's fiber or animal-based materials that can be grown, harvested, and manufactured in under 10 years. So also recycled content, that's the percentage of material in the product that has been recycled from the waste stream, either pre-consumer or post-consumer, and is used to make new materials. And this wraps up our chapter 9. I will see you in chapter 10 video. Thank you so much.